how do you make a successful game? Where do you start? Campaign? Multiplayer? Do you cater the game to attract an audience, or do you survey the landscape of games and make something that people are clamoring for from what's missing in the games they are currently playing? So hire a crack staff? Create a product that attracts people's attention? The next thing you want to do is make it look engaging. What do gamers want? Since this is an MW2 video, we will take it from a MW2 gamer wishlist standpoint. The complaint that we've been hearing most often from other content creators, myself included, and comments in the comment section, is that players are bored. They've grown tired of receiving little to no new maps, for 6v6 multiplayer. They have grown weary of recycled maps and of Call of Duty itself. This is unacceptable for this storied franchise. This current iteration of MW2 has squandered years of built-up franchise loyalty. Activision has failed to recognize this current generation of gamers. Now, bear with me through this. There is a connection. The average attention span is 8.25 seconds, according to research. That's 4.25 seconds less than just 15 years ago. I mean, goldfish have a higher attention span. The average amount of time someone watches an internet video is 2.7 minutes. All right, let's tie it in now. If we have a far lower attention span than we used to, it would behoove a publisher and studio like Activision and Infinity Ward to utilize this data for better engagement in their video games. In layman's terms, use the data to make a game that keeps players' attention, thus making it not boring. Instead of making a gaming product that is superior in quality, engaging by nature, captivating by its interactions, Activision, and by default, off contract, Infinity Ward has chosen to artificially manipulate players into engagement scenarios. That experiment is clearly failing miserably. The dwindling population numbers bear this out. Most of us by now know about the patents filed by Activision that have been allegedly activated in MW2. If you don't already know about the patents, they're not hard to find. If you have the time to read them, you will not look at the game the same again. It is my opinion that the engagement portion of the patent is a main reason why we don't have proper stat tracking and lobby leaderboards currently in MW2. That's a different rabbit hole to go down for another video. Gamers are really a simple lot if you think about it. We are clear in what we want, what we expect, and we are very passionate and are vocal in our responses when we feel that we've been slighted or ignored. We pay a prime penny for these AAA games, and we expect a fair deal for our money. What we have received in MW2 2022 is laughable. Now, I'm not one of these guys that will say, how bored they are with the game and how much they don't play it, but makes a video every other day saying the same thing about how much they are bored and don't play the game. Say it and be done with it. I'm not going to give you fake rage and yell and scream it in every video. I'm going to give you the truth, not clickbait. We bought a game that, like most AAA games nowadays, was shipped in a broken state. The promises that MW2 2022 made were not met. We all expect bugs and glitches. That's part of the territory. It happens. What we expect when they happen is that the developer fixes them in a timely manner and addresses them with the community that purchased its game. With this game, we were met with deaf ears and closed mouths. Little to no communication at all dribbled out of the developers' collective mouths. Maps that were and are in the game were taken out for potential copyright reasons. No other maps were put in their place. As I mentioned before, stat tracking was non-existent. Game modes like gun game that were popular with players were gone. I'm not going to be hard on game modes, as those are subjective, to what you play, what you like to play, and those are the things that are usually shaken up anyway. The Prestige system was revamped to reflect the games as a service money grab seasonal mode. Gone was the Prestige system that gave players another reason to play and flex their rank in the lobby. We instead got this season rank mode that is easily met and is no flex at all, really. Once you hit the max rank, the daily challenges that you can do, to help you rank up all become irrelevant. The camos and the emblem grind challenges are the only real things that keep a player like me coming back. However, to tie artificial grind to a system that requires you to rank up multiple different guns to unlock attachments, for other guns that you may actually want to use is ridiculous. It may be fun to try other guns and off-meta weapons, but I want to do them as part of an enjoyable experience that I choose to do. Players don't want to feel like they have to come home from work to punch into a MW2 2022 part-time gig. I personally am a fan of larger maps that allow for multiple styles of engagements with various weapon types. Unfortunately, in order to optimize the camo grind, we have to get challenges done in old retread maps like Shipment and Shoot House. One can only play those maps for so long. For most of these challenges, you're forced to play as a bot or camp. I've been accused of both, and I wear those badges proudly because most of the time, those commenters have no idea what I'm trying to get done. They seem to think, polyatomic camo just magically appears. To date, I refuse to run around with a riot shield on my back, but, I do, however, understand. It is also understandable that if you upload average gameplay on maps other than Shipment or Shoot House, wait for it, people's attention span drops off. They need the constant hit of dopamine, the bright flashes, the noise cues, the jingly keys.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
How many other videos from content creators have you seen using those two maps, or even older COD gameplay, or gameplay, from a completely different game? If Activision wants to maximize natural player retention, they need to add at least 4 small to mid-sized player maps to the 6v6 multiplayer rotation. Doing this would mitigate the lack of dopamine drip needed to keep players engaged with their product. This is not a long-term solution though. It is a mere band-aid. Their artificial retention model, coupled with poor maps and gameplay systems, is continuously driving players away. Apply the band-aid, to stem the bleeding and address the root cause of the problem. It is easy to bash Activision and Infinity Ward for this mess of a game, as they have doubled down with the nonsense for Season 2. Hedging your bets and trying to leverage the waning popularity of Warzone behind a paywall is another example of the bait-and-switch tactics that Activision is using to move units. It is nothing short of being a drug dealer giving out free examples to get you hooked, only to charge you an arm and a leg when you come back for more and delivering less than prime product. Don't even get me started on the CDL skin either. It's a disingenuous and disgusting ploy. Instead of improving on the game, addressing the complaints and suggestions from players, Activision is driving this franchise into the ground. It is out of spite because of the potential acquisition by Microsoft. Who knows? If they are, it's a futile strategy, as the sale itself will instill hope in players that have left the franchise. Activision is despised that much by players and its own employees. The COD franchise is much more beloved, and Microsoft will be in a unique position to revive this franchise with pretty much a clean slate. Let's hope they steer the bus in the right direction. So to sum up a few things, this game has fallen off. We can all see that. I'd love to know your experiences playing this game. How often do you play MW2? And how long is your usual session? Have you given up on this COD and, just watch videos to keep up to date? If you've left the franchise, would you come back, when and if Microsoft takes over? Let me know in the comments below. It's your time, and I thank you for sharing it with me. Have a great day.